Indianapolis.
Ross Chastain used the wall all the way around this racetrack. Logano has been the class of the field.
Check out the big brain on Brad.
Yeah, I need to change my underwear.
With the Monster Mile being tamed and in the Brickyard, Indiana. I keep wanting to say Iowa for some reason. In
They're not the same state?
No. In Midwest, people are going to come after us. All the cornfields running together. Brian Twining, we are back. We are going to talk everything that was Dover. Another impressive win from Denny. We'll talk about kind of his potential. We'd love to hear from you guys. How did Dover go for you? Where do you think Denny is? Like, is he on pace for, like, maybe not Kyle Larson 2021, but like 6-7 wins? I know on Actions Gentlemental they were talking about his wins for the season and what he could do. Seems like he's really hot, and it seems like he's heading into a really good stretch of the calendar for him. So we'll talk through our DFS slate. We'll talk through our betting slate. We'll look at the betting odds heading into Indiana, into the Brickyard. Talk through some of our thoughts, some of the guys that we want to target, the guys we want to fade, and try and make some sense of it. But we got talked over. Obviously, Denny gets the win. Christopher Bell spins out not once, but twice. Tires, once again, do not matter. They never have. They never will.
They mattered super late in the run, which is the portion of a run that we almost never get to because of the way that the stages are set up.
Denny also set the fastest lap of the race on the last lap on grandparents' old tires. Like, I don't know what we're doing.
It's because of the duration of the stages and the way that they're trying to stretch their fuel tanks. If we somehow did the floating stage break or shortened the first two stages and made the last one basically be the entirety of the race, that probably all gets eliminated.
Yeah, I also, the rain probably didn't help. It probably cleaned off a lot of the crap that was on there. It didn't have all that rubber that got laid down. But it was, as someone who found himself some Christopher Bell at like an outrageous number compared to what was in market, I was feeling great, and then I was feeling terrible, and then he got back on the front again. I'm like, here we go, baby, and then we spun out again. Stupid.
Yeah, but I think honestly, I feel like that was just the gods saying, like, yeah, Christopher Bell didn't have a.
Yeah, but like, this feels like the race that Christopher Bell wins. I was really funny. I don't know where. I don't know if it's a broadcast. I don't know if it's Denny. I don't know something, but like, Christopher Bell obviously has 3 wins, but like the rest of his races have been like so bad for the most part. Like, he's probably got like one of the widest deltas of any driver this season, which is very rare. Yeah, but like, that's not the 20 experience. The 20 experience is like 5th, 4th, 5th, win, 4th, 12th.
Yeah, but hear me out.
I will not.
Having seen Joey Logano win 2 of the last 3 championships, why wouldn't teams begin to get like checkers or wreckers mentalities when they've already essentially locked themselves into a pretty advanced spot into the playoffs? This portion of the schedule, like we've seen HMS do numerous times before with all their guys, it really doesn't mean jack shit in terms of the playoffs. And so these guys don't have anything to lose after they've accumulate 2, 3, 4 wins, in the sense of Denny or Bell or Larson. Why does it matter running good and getting average finish when that does not matter in the grand scheme of once the playoffs start?
Yeah, it really feels like this is the part of the schedule that sets the back half of the round of the 16 drivers in the playoffs.
Exactly.
We get our Bubba Wallace, Alex Bowman, Chris Buescher, whoever wins, locks himself in, Ricky Stenhouse.
And that's where I do think that guys like Christopher Bell, for instance, where he's kind of struggled at tracks this year that he was good at last year.
Yeah.
I think there's a non-zero chance that they're probably going into those races with slightly different setups
I
because
think
of
you're
the fact.
giving him a little too much credit for crappy results, but just for context. So he got the 3 wins in Atlanta, Coda, and Phoenix. And then he went 12th, 29th, 2nd, 3rd, 8th, 35th, 9th, 2nd, 1st. Well, that was North Wilkesboro. That doesn't count. And then when we came back, Charlotte 8th, Nashville 10th, Michigan 16th, Mexico City 2nd, Pocono 17th, Atlanta 30th,
Well, that's
Chicago
a wreck.
24th, Sonoma 5th, Dover 18th. Just
That's fine to me. Like, he's got 3 wins and he still has plenty of top 5s, top 10s mixed in there. Like, it doesn't benefit him to just sit here and try to do the Chase Elliott and give everybody the Chase Elliott experience and just be average ass back half of the top 10 results
I
all the
will
time. Like,
say, average ass has been above average ass. He's
yes,
not.
and we talked about him coming into Dover, like, perfect little segue here, but Elliott kicked ass.
Yeah, he was really
at
good.
Dover. And had he not gotten shuffled back, I think he might have been able to have something for Denny on a late race restart,
Yeah,
simply because he was stuck on 1 win and he's still looking for that second to kind of move himself up further in the playoff standings. Although he's still a little bit higher up in the standings that I think he should be, with having single win. But
yeah. I'll let you argue with jabronis on the X machine
yeah, that's
about that
besides the
one.
point. I won't
I
get
will
into that.
say Denny was, I think, the best car most of the day. I think uh, obviously Chase was incredible, and you can make an argument that he was the best car all day. I think Larson, obviously, at the end of the race, really found something. And I think
Yeah.
if that race goes another 10, 15 laps, maybe he's the guy sitting in victory lane. Um, but yeah, it was. Did you have fun? Was it a good race to you? Did you enjoy watching that race?
Let me say from a pure entertainment
Let's say you
perspective.
didn't have any bets on it and you weren't really worried about that as far as the outcome. Would you say it was a compelling race? Because obviously there was points where people were racing and Denny would get back a little bit and then you'd figure it out.
Yeah. I'm just gonna cut you off there. I thought it was fantastic because I didn't have much of anything on this race. It was fantastic to just sit back and watch as a fan, and that's probably why I'm so jubilant right now because I got to take a stress-free weekend finally.
Yeah,
But just beginning the race with all of those guys starting further back than what we had expected because of no qualifying and the anticipation of seeing, like, how long is it going to take them to get to the front? Are they going to be able to battle for the lead? What type of strategy are they going to have to get on to get to the front? And also watching Chase Elliott dominate a race like we haven't seen him do in 3 years. Like, it was a fun race from a pure strategy standpoint, taking a step back from the betting angle.
yeah, yeah. Obviously, as a Christopher Bell backer, I was really hoping that rain was just gonna end up staying and they were gonna call the race, but clearly I didn't get the result I was looking for. But that's okay. If you're new here, if you've been here for a while and you haven't done it for some reason, make sure you click the subscribe button. Get our content twice a week in your feed. Smash that like. Let us know down in the comments. How many wins does Denny get? Did you have fun at Dover? How's the betting card looking? Hopefully better than Brian and I's, because it's been rough. It's really funny because in the Discord, which, by the way, if you're not subscribed to Win the Race, you should change that. Amazing deal going on. You can give it a try, see if it's for you. I think it's like $30 a month, 40% off. Amazing deal. But everyone's like, why do we do this? Why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we put ourselves through this? But yeah, NASCAR gambling really is um, a marathon, not a sprint. So be understanding that when you're up here and you're hitting a lot of stuff, that it's not going to stay up here. It's going to come down here, and know that when you're down here riding in the mud, losing all your bets, that it will eventually come back up. So make
Maybe.
sure you are understanding if that ride isn't for you. I totally get it.
Yeah.
Find other ways to get involved. DFS can be fun, or just enjoy the sport. Hell, figure it out. Brian Twining. Let's look at our results because DraftKings, we did some good things. So Denny Hamlin was obviously great. Chase Elliott was great. Those were, I think Blaney, obviously Hamlin and Kyle Larson were easy clicks. I think Chase Elliott was the one that, and I think we talked a little bit about it on the Saturday night show, obviously in your feed Sunday morning, about Chase versus Byron. I ended up talking myself into Byron because I thought he was going to be quote unquote safer, but he was just kind of there. He never really did the the cookout thing where he gets to the front even if he's not going to win the race. So Elliott kind of took that mantle, but he was obviously great. Eric Jones was incredibly underwhelming. We talked about Legacy's improvement. This could be a good spot for him. And he just kind of was just in the back like all day. So that was really frustrating. Ricky Stenhouse was fine. John Hunter was fine.
Stenhouse definitely got a finish that his car didn't deserve.
Yeah.
Because he was a lap down in the first stage and looking like he was going to be really bad. And then he lucked out from a few of those late race shenanigan cautions that were happening.
Yeah, that was my favorite part was when like everybody but like 6 cars were a lap down. That was
that was
pure
so
entertainment. But yeah, so we made some money on DraftKings. Hamlin, obviously Chastain, I think was another one that I was just I don't know. Like he had a bad day and then he wrecked, and clearly me and our 21% other people were riding that wave. Chase Briscoe, another phenomenal race from him. I thought he actually maybe would, at the very end, have something for Hamlin, and maybe it's the JGR teammate thing, maybe it's something else. But
tires mattered, but the car sucks when it comes to aero.
Yeah, and Denny talked about that too. Like just being in front matters so much, and maybe just put these guys in Xfinity cars and let's see how much fun we can have. Alex Bowman, another incredible race for him. It wasn't that long ago that he was in the wall and we were worried he was going to miss a race. And ever since then, it's like whatever happened to him when he had a snowboarding accident got reversed. And now he's just awesome again.
Yeah, but I will say Pocono is Bowman's course for the horse, I guess, to put it in a singular context, because Pocono is a place, or not Pocono, Dover is a place where Bowman has just been amazing at ever since stepping into Cup Car. And so it was really no surprise to see him perform well. I was a bit surprised to see the speed that they had, because there were times where he was probably the fastest car on the track. And had he not started so far back, maybe he's competing up front like Chase Elliott was early on in the race and leading a ton of laps himself.
Yeah, but 3rd at Dover, 8th at Chicago, 3rd at Atlanta, 4th at Mexico City. Impressive little run for him. Obviously, there's some less than ideal results in there, but
he's the lone HMS car without a win. So
yeah. And then our third and final one, obviously Larson was fine, but Byron crashed, Ross crashed, Hocevar crashed. So I mean, it's, at that point, what are you doing? So
I mean, I'm not really surprised that 2 of the 3 of them crashing, and Hocevar and Chastain, to be honest.
Yeah, I will say, if you're in the Grid Rival League, we're having some fun in there. I made some serious strides the past 2 weeks, and I'm now solidly in 2nd place, which feels good. So if you want to take down the prize, you have to beat both Brian and I.
Well, that helps when your boy doesn't set lineups.
Brian Twining, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
I mean, I know you wanted to like take a little bit of a break, but
yeah, I was so checked out last week. After they took the green flag, I went, "Oh crap! I never set my grid."
You didn't even have like the "I'm in Vegas" excuse. You were just like,
no, yeah.
We'll look at the gross betting card. Ryan Blaney, nope. Ross Chastain top Chevy, nope. Eric Jones top 10, nope. Seabell over Elliott, nope. Chastain top 5, nope. Blaney, nope. Elliott top Chevy, that felt like it should have cashed a few times.
Yeah, and I stick by that bet as being the best
Oh yeah.
market for Elliott simply because of his inability to win races
Yeah,
recently.
no,
So
I think it's that because especially because like his top 3, top 5 numbers are not going to be nearly as good. And like we
exactly.
were talking about, the Chevy being kind of open this week, and obviously it was another HMS driver, but um, it was Alex Bowman who gets there. So obviously frustrating little stretch here. Brian is just digging himself deeper and deeper and deeper. I made all that money in Atlanta and I've given it back the past couple weeks, but we are transparent. We don't just tell you about our wins, we tell you about all of our losses. Anything else on Dover before we shift our focus and talk a little Indy, a little Brickyard, a little intermediate racing?
Yeah, I'm just gonna reharken on the fact that I do think that the tire did wear, but it took so long to get to the fall off point that we need to figure out a better way to get to that point in the mid part of a run, not at the very end of it when the pit window is essentially opening. Like you can't have the tire falling off right when guys are in their fuel window and able to pit because then the tire really doesn't mean shit, which has
Yeah.
been the case pretty much all season and all of last year, even though they keep changing up the compounds and bringing different tire like softnesses to try to see if it wears more. Like, just give us something that is like Bristol Spring last year on a consistent basis, and I think everybody would enjoy that.
Clearly not Goodyear. I almost wonder if they don't like to see their tires fall apart on national TV. So they
Well, I'm sure it's also difficult for them to produce the tires, and if they're getting destroyed quicker, like obviously they need to ramp up production and teams need to buy more sets. So who knows? Maybe it's actually NASCAR and the NASCAR owners that are like, hey, just like Denny said on his podcast about let's give the perception that you can pass. Maybe NASCAR and Goodyear are in cahoots saying, let's give the perception of tire wear and actually not implement that.
yeah,
So that way
it's
we
kind of
save ourselves money.
like the NFL where they're actually not trying to fix the problem. They're just trying to keep it a conversation.
Exactly.
All right, let's talk some odds. Let's talk some outrights. Let's talk if there's anything we actually want to bet this week. Kyle Larson 4, Denny Hamlin 4.5, Ryan Blaney 7, Chase Elliott 9, Tyler Reddick 10, William Byron 10. A lot of squeezing, a lot of books just going. I don't know. You guys figure it out. Obviously, we ran this track for the first time in 4 years last year. Second year in a row back to it. Are you using anything besides 2024 as a reference point? Anything from this year? Anything from previous years? Old versions of this track? Like, where's your head at in terms of figuring out who you want to target this week?
Yeah, for me, it's really just Pocono speed this year because we're bringing the same right side tire as Pocono, and then obviously some of what we saw last year here at Indy mixed in with a tiny bit of like speed at Michigan since they're bringing the left side tire from Michigan this week, which that probably means less than what we try to make it out to be since we just had this conversation about tires not mattering. So obviously, more so on the Pocono side, which has me looking at the Toyotas. Like clearly, they're going to be fast. The
Then he's
one,
just going to win again, isn't he?
that's exactly what I was just going to say. It's like I think we're stuck in this Denny Hamlin spiral effect where everything that's going on off the track has just made him even more motivated to get out there and claim checkered flags. And the books are akin to that too. Like that's the reason why he's opening up at the favorite again. Like you can't bet against them.
Yeah, they're just smushing everybody together too, which is really frustrating. I want to give Chase Briscoe his flowers. Obviously, we talked a little bit about it, but before the season, we talked about what success looked like for Chase Briscoe, and
Yes.
clearly, like he's not like just dominating every race, but nobody expected that. We talked about give me consistency, Chase. Because we've seen you in SHR cars do stuff at random places and then obviously go away. But like he's been rock solid, competitive, showing up in Sonoma and then backing it up with an intermediate track. Really getting comfortable in the 19 car and consistently finding himself in that like 12 to 16 range, which on the betting board, he's clearly not in that Elliott, Hamlin, Blaney group, but he's like right that next tier, and that's exactly where he should be in this car. So, I do want to give him a little positive shout out, but like I guess if we go Busher, Bell, Briscoe, Byron, Reddick, Elliott, Blaney, Hamlin, Larson, is there any actual bets you want to make?
Well, I seriously contemplated my entire pitfall this year. Tyler Reddick. But the thing is I'm not gonna do it. But it would not surprise me.
I'm not gonna die.
I'm not gonna do it. But it will not surprise me one bit if he shows up with a rocket here at Indy like he did last year. Little disappointing in Pocono this year, but I think they got the car better throughout the day. It's just with him and his opening odds sitting where they are and the way he hasn't been able to finish races this year, I don't see the number moving far enough for me not to want to get involved after practice and qualifying, and he proves that he's brought a rocket ship to the track.
So I guess, is there a number pre-practice that you would have to just say F it and grab it? And then if he comes out and looks awesome, where are you comfortable getting to?
So I'm not going any shorter than 8 post. Like
Okay.
if he reopens at like 5 and 6, like no chance.
If he's 650, you're not interested.
Yeah.
And I think if he looks awesome, obviously there's other factors involved, but I kind of feel like he's 650 or 7 and that's probably somewhere you're not going to be getting to. So if I could get you like 16 or 18, would you take it? If I got you,
yeah. I think he would be similar conversation as Bell last week, where like because Christopher Bell opened at 18 on our favorite offshore, or Kyle's favorite offshore.
There's an 11 at MGM.
He's available at 12 in Vegas, and I
so 12's too short.
Yeah, I can't get there with him. It would have to be 14 or 15, I think, right now.
Okay. Yeah, he's the one I keep coming back to, and our friends over at Win the Race have him ranked highly in their pre stuff. So there is a lot of interest and incentive there. I will say, you keep mentioning the Pocono corollary. You know who won Pocono, right?
Yeah, I know. I don't know if the thing though is like it's only happened once. He's only won once. 12? That's
13. I can get you 13 at FanDuel.
Even that, like,
would you rather take Denny at 450 or Briscoe at 13?
Well, I think if you could cash out from the CLV casino, give me Briscoe all day there.
Well, you can't. Nope, you're locked in through race day.
As gross as it is I'd rather play Denny. I'm not going to.
I can't believe I'm about to say what I'm about to say. I'm putting Chase Briscoe on the betting card.
Oh my god.
13-1. Let's go.
I don't hate it. Look, I think Briscoe could be fire here. This is a place he wants to win. This is his home state. He was fantastic at Pocono. He was really good last week, late in the run at Dover. Obviously, no translation between the tracks, but talking about a guy that has really found his stride with JGR after some struggles early in the season. And we're seeing a return to what the 19 car has brought to tracks in the past, like the speed, the teamwork with James Small. And look, for all the shit that we gave James Small the last couple of years with Mark Truex Jr., he's been pulling some rabbits out of his ass, especially last week at Dover, where, they were one of the first guys to jump down pit road and put on freshies late in that run. And sure enough, he was right there at the end with a chance to win because of that decision, because of James Small's decision. So maybe a lot of our negative vibes should have been directed more at the guy that already had one foot out the door than the crew chief.
You don't say. Yeah, I feel really gross. I'm probably gonna go throw up in the corner in about 2 minutes, but Chase Briscoe 13-1. Welcome to the betting card. Beyond the kind of 16, you know who else is really good, and I'm gonna look and see if there's any better numbers, but Chris Buescher was also really good at Pocono. So take that for what it's worth. He feels like he should be pretty firmly in that next range.
The sad thing about the current state of NASCAR betting, though, is that Buescher, a guy who hasn't won in, I can't even recall, on an oval, and has been there multiple times to be there at the end, but he just simply hasn't had the race winning car this year, is priced in a range that we were seeing guys with wins last year. In 2025, the books have shortened the numbers by about $4 to $5. And it's really gotten me in a state where, like, I can't bet the majority of these guys on the back half of the favorites list because they shouldn't be that short. They should be in that 20 range.
Yeah, honestly, the way the books are pricing a lot of these guys is really making me a lot more comfortable betting the top of the board.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'd much rather bet, and I know it's going to sound counterproductive to or counterintuitive to what I just did, but 90% of the time, I'd much rather take the guys inside 10-1 than kind of in the next range. Because as you mentioned, outside of maybe when Ty Gibbs was just like steaming for some reason, was be like priced at 14, most of these guys would be like 25 instead of 12. And the books are really just like not getting screwed and not giving us opportunities. So, yeah, Briscoe's the only one that's even somewhat interesting, and that's only because the Pocono corollary, we expect Toyotas to be really good. It's really funny though, Brian, because I was so tempted to put Toyota on my card as the outright winner last week, and I just couldn't get myself to do it. And now I'm gonna probably go all in on Toyotas, and they're gonna shit the bed, but that's okay. Is there anybody? Ty Gibbs at 25, but Bubba at 28, Hocevar, Chastain, Bowman, Josh Berry, like anybody that you can make the case for, even if it's more of a CLV casino type wager, not an actual, like, probably not going to win. But if you bet them at 40, they could be 22 when we talk on Saturday night and maybe finish, with a chance, have they're at one point or another in the race where you feel like, okay, they're near the front, they're contending, and if things fall right, they could end up in victory lane.
Yeah, so the first guy that I actually did place an outright wager right when odds dropped this week. Yes, I am fully back for betting my personal here, but it was Bubba Wallace. He opened at 60 in Vegas. Like, clearly that number is not available anywhere else. He's like 30 to 35, I think, in places right now. And I don't know if I can get there at that price simply because, I mean, again, Bubba Wallace too, he hasn't won in over 100 races. So I'm not going to bet 30-1 when I could get a guy like Alex Bowman, who's been on a tear, or Chastain, who has a win this year. Carson Hocevar even has looked more competitive at the very front of races than Bubba Wallace. So obviously I'm not going to go there with the 23. I do think he's somebody to consider this week. And then Ty Gibbs, I know I swore him off. I do think that he's somebody who's definitely live this week, but I have a hard time playing him at that 25 number when we just don't know what type of race we're going to get out of the kid. I mean, he has yet to win in his Cup Series career. That first one is always really hard, and I don't think the number is going to move at all, regardless of whether or not he puts it on the front row in quality.
I think if he puts it on the pole, he's 14 instead of, or maybe 16.
Oh, and then it's even more reason not to bet it, though. That's the thing. Like, do you trust Ty Gibbs to parlay a front row starting position into a race win?
God, no.
Exactly. Like, at that point, you're going to fade him. So I don't know. There's just, I think you wait live, especially at a track like Indy where guys are going to have to pit before the end of the first stage. We saw a bunch of pit road penalties last year with the weird blend line and all that stuff. I mean, we're talking veterans of the sport: Chase Elliott, Brad
Ready
Keselowski.
for Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch, Chris Buescher, all to end up with pit road penalties.
Yeah, like it's
Joey
just hard.
Logano.
Yeah, so for me, I do think Ryan Preece was another guy. He opened at 75 at Caesars, which I wasn't able to get down on that. It was a number that I kind of liked, and I would have played that. But at 50, I don't know. If you want to place like a $5 bet on Ryan Preece at 50 to 1, I don't hate that simply because he's another guy that's battling for a playoff spot and he needs a win. So he's going to be going for the gusto and making some very aggressive and interesting pit calls at a race where that's going to come into play.
Yeah, I'm just searching for a number really quick because I think I can get you 75 on Ryan Preece if you want it.
Where is that?
FanDuel.
All right. We're gonna
Would
add that to
you
the card.
would you bet Preece at 50 over Bubba at 35?
Probably.
We can't like place like a psychologist too much. But with the teams, the charters, and the situations obviously going around, they're getting asked all the time. Should we be more cautious about betting the 2311 guys, the guys that are in legal trouble, the Denny Hamlin thinking about his race team, but obviously he just won, so like that's another whole nother story. But like, if you're concerned about your ride for 2026 and beyond, is there a reason to like, I don't know, avoid those guys if it's close enough where it's like, oh, I'd rather bet 16 than 14, but 14 seems okay. But then you're thinking, oh, well, he's 2311, so I'm not going to bet that.
Yeah, I do think that there is some more weight on the current happenings between the whole situation in 2311 and NASCAR when it comes to their drivers of Tyler Reddick and Bubba Wallace in particular, especially Reddick, who apparently has an opt-out clause that if they're not a chartered team, he can basically leave free willy and just go wherever. And it kind of seems like he's probably been weighing options at this point, not knowing what the future holds at 2311, especially for somebody that made it to the championship 4 last year. And I'm sure there are teams out there that are like, hey, we can offer you a ride right now, and you're the top car in our camp. Like,
is silly season going to get started really early, and is it going to actually be bonkers season? Like, could we?
I don't really think so.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of Zillich going to the Trackhouse, maybe some other like back marker moves between. We still got to get the Rick Ware Racing and Legacy situation handled too.
Yeah.
But I don't see Legacy making any moves. I don't know. I don't see a ton happening.
All right. So from an outright perspective, Ryan Preece at 75, is that your only bet? It's fine if it is. I'm just curious.
Yeah, probably just based on price. Especially also, real quick, we have to make sure that people know we're going to get 2 reopens because we get a Friday 50-minute practice and then we get Saturday qualifying. So let's just hope.
Overreact. That might be the best news I've heard all day.
Yeah, let's hope that we get a Mexico City type of reaction where Shane Van Gisbergen reopened at 4:25 because his practice didn't look all that great in Mexico City. So let's hope we get something similar here on Friday night. Like, obviously the markets are only going to be open for a very short amount of time, but there is a good opportunity to grab some numbers that floated based on overreactions.
So make sure you're following Brian and I on the X machine, and we'll try and tweet out as many thoughts as we can. Like Brian said, numbers will move fast if there's an overreaction. That being said, if we see numbers that seem out of whack and we think are worth your time, we'll definitely throw them on there. We'll also loop back to this video and put them in the comments. But like I said, for the most instant reaction, you could definitely hit us up there. The best way to do it is to join our friends over at Win the Race, jump in the Discord, and get that betting conversation, because there will be lots of talking in there Friday after practice before qualifying. So highly recommend doing that. But if you don't want to join Win the Race, or you want to, just see where we're at, we'll definitely try and be proactive about tweeting it out, and then obviously adding stuff. We'll review everything Saturday, but by Sunday morning, it'll all be, gone with the wind. All right. So yeah, I have Briscoe at 13. Brian has Priest at 75. Let us know who's on your early outright card. We're always interested to see who this community is going towards. You guys are all really smart bettors. Always have good conversation points, so we really appreciate you guys interacting with us, keeping the good times rolling, as they say. Brian Twining, is there opportunity, I will once again ask you, in the top Ford market, with Brian Blaney being minus 110?
I don't hate Keselowski at that inflated number. I mean, he's another guy that I kind of swore off this year just because he's this year's version of Martin Truex Jr., where everybody likes him. He shows up with speed. He looks good in practice. And then the asteroid comes and tears up the car, or something happens on Sunday. So Brad is somebody that I do think could pop this weekend at Indy, but it's hard to get down on the outright market for, again, a guy who hasn't won in forever. So I do think looking in the top Ford market is kind of the way you want to look with him.
I mean, I told you that I was going to go throw up in the corner after my outright bet, but when I tell you who I'm going to bet, and I'm really considering betting Austin Cindric here.
How could you even utter those words?
He's 18, right? Yeah, 18. He was top 10 at Pocono. I don't know, is he just like a non-factor? He started.
When is Austin Cindric ever a factor?
He finished 7th here last year, which was 3rd Ford. So I mean, obviously not the top Ford, but like,
I think it's really hard for Cindric to overcome the strengths of the RFK camp and his two teammates, and to a lesser extent, Josh Berry, who he's kind of struggled over the last couple of months, but they come with very similar speed as the two. So Cindric is rightfully so priced as the longest guy amongst the top tier of that. But I would rather play Priest at the same price as Cindric, because they seem to be a little more adept at being aggressive on strategy calls and getting good finishes because of those decisions.
Yeah, I think I like Cindric better, but it's close.
All right, we got to find a market. Priest versus Cindric. I'll shop around and see if we can get that.
What I can do, but see, the thing is, like, I trust Priest to be more reliable. Like, I think the delta of Cindric is wider.
Cindric top Ford is 22-1 at 365.
Okay, that's going on the card.
Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, our friends over at Win the Race have Cindric as a pretty decent favorite in a head-to-head. So use that for what you will. I guess this is what happens when the betting card hasn't been going well. You decide to hitch your wagon to Austin Cindric and Chase Briscoe.
That is surely a statement, sir.
Yeah. All right. Chase Elliott, William Byron, McDriver, Alex Bowman, Carson Hocevar.
Okay, so there's a matchup on 365. I don't know how long this is gonna stay up here, but I am gonna play this. Alex Bowman plus 120 over Carson Hocevar. I know the love affair with Carson Hocevar at these types of tracks is rampant, and everybody's got the pheromones being sent their way for the young buck there riding the Dente. But Alex Bowman, as Kyle kind of laid out, is on a friggin' heater right now. And this is also a track that he didn't finish all that bad last year. He was decent at Pocono. So I'm going to take the guy that's riding in the HMS car, who's going to be starting pretty high up in the field with him qualifying as late as he is, whereas Carson Hocevar has to qualify like the 4th or 5th guy out. So, yeah, I'm going to take the plus money with Bowman. I'm going to enjoy my CLV here, pre-practice and qualifying, and just hope that Bowman doesn't have an issue, which ultimately forces him to lose this race or lose this matchup.
Yeah. I've seen a little optimism in the Discord about McDowell and Zane Smith top 10s. Are you in on either of those guys?
And
I mean, they're
I don't
long
know.
numbers.
Like I've played McDowell numerous times this year. The price is right. If you can get, like, he's 12-1 in places, 10-1. I don't hate that. I think that there's plenty of value there, but can he realistically get a top 10 on speed? Probably not. So you're going to need him to be on the right strategy. Something we know he's going to do, in that he's another guy. He needs a win. Like, there's no chance of him pointing his way into the playoffs. So he's going to do everything possible to find track position here. But you're hitching your wagon to them catching the strategy right. And this is also a guy who is probably more likely than a lot of others to have a pit road penalty of the blend line or speeding or something like that, because of the aggression level that is needed for them to get the track position.
Yeah. Oh, we got Jesse Love this week.
Yeah, well.
And the leg?
Hey, Catherine Leg's just going to do her thing, man.
Legatron, I can already tell you she will be one of Brian's write-ups on Sunday. Any interest in going head-to-head with Denny with any of these guys? Christopher Bell?
Well, he's going to be a massive favorite on that, so.
Chase Briscoe plus 550, top Toyota?
No. If Chase Briscoe is finishing ahead of Denny Hamlin and Tyler Reddick, I think he's probably winning the race. And because you're getting more than double that, I would rather play his outright.
Yep. Reddick versus Elliott. Gibbs. Should we just take Ty Dillon one more time? Or is this the spot where we finally take him and then Ty Gibbs wins?
Well, oh yeah, it's been nuked. Again, if you're not part of the Win the Race Discord, you missed out on this. But Ty Dillon was opened at 4-1 against Ty Gibbs at Bet365. He's now down to 275. And yeah, I'm not going to put it on the card. I may nibble at it a little bit personally, but in a race where anything can happen, again, I'm going to say it again. You could have a pit road penalty here that costs you your track position, or Ty Dillon can just be lucky enough to get through the wreck while you get collected in it, which has happened numerous times already in this tournament. So getting anybody in a NASCAR race at plus 250 or longer in a matchup, especially when that car is not an absolute shitbox, yeah, I think that's definitely something you should consider.
All right, Ty Dillon, Ty Gibbs rather, speed on pit road so I can cash my bet.
Yeah, that's to me, that's a wild number. Even a plus 230 here at Caesars. To me, that should be no longer than I don't know, plus 175. Which again, I mean, we're talking about 55 cents or.
Let's see here. Let's see what it actually should be.
Oh, it's probably going to show 5-1 as fair market value, but realistically speaking, in the world of NASCAR,
Fair
where
market value is 218.
yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Just seeing. Just trying to see. Let's see, race matchup. Yeah, 365 is 275, but our friends offshore still have 4-1. So do with that information what you will. Any other? Oh, we could Brian.
All right, we're taking either side. This is a show
Done.
bet.
Done. That's meant to be.
Let's go.
R.I.P. my bank account. It's all right.
Oh man. See, and this is what we were like. This was something that we kind of talked about before the season started. We wish books would offer more shitbox or mid-pack matchups because nobody wants to play Denny Hamlin versus Kyle Larson. Anybody that knows a shit about NASCAR is not. It's not fading either one of those guys in a matchup at almost any track. And so we want the head-to-heads of the no-name guys so we can, have fun, make the race more interesting as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, they just don't want to get caught with their pants down, so that's why that's that. Let's see what 365 has for matchups. Anything fun? Chase plus 160 versus Denny.
Yeah,
Logano plus 130. Briscoe plus 130 against Reddick. That seems kind of fun.
I'm not touching either one of those guys.
Plus 130 against Red Dog.
I think the whole thing about the Toyotas being like really strong is going to keep me away from playing a manufacturer matchup like that.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
Because again, too, if you're betting Briscoe to beat Reddick at what is it, plus 130?
Yeah.
Right? Then you might as well just play Briscoe to finish the top Toyota, because if he's beating Reddick, then he's probably hypothetically
he could easily beat Reddick and be like 17th. Like Reddick's not exactly the world beater.
Yeah, I know,
but
that's why
we're not betting him to win the race.
According to Sims.
Yeah, I'm pushing back real hard on that.
Yeah, but I'm not playing plus 130 for a manufacturer like that.
No,
That'd be like,
but if I'm playing that game, yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. But plus 130 is, I think, viable. What's like a top? I mean, what's his top 10? Top 10 probably isn't out, right?
no, yeah, I think 365 is the only one that has.
Let's see here. Top 10.
I mean, you could play Briscoe plus 250 top 5.
Yeah, it's minus 150 to top 10. I don't know. I think it has more legs. Okay. Anything else you would like to look at? Any odds jumping out? Anything that makes sense? Anything we should make sure we hit on before we get out of here? Make sure you go check out our friends over at Win the Race. Jump in the Discord, have some fun conversations. Check our friends over at Good Rival, $100 match deposit up to or 100% match up to $100. AOP, all the stuff is linked. Join our Substack. It's completely free. It gets in your email inbox every race day. Subscribe now, so that way when Sunday rolls around, you get that sent your way as well. We appreciate everybody's hopped in there. Anything else, Brian Twining?
No, I'm excited to be back into the grind here. Diving in, actually making some bets this week.
All right, so I will just match you. So we're going head to head. I got Cindric. Brian has Ryan Priest. Let us know down in the comments who's winning that. I have Cindric top forward and Chase Briscoe. It's real barf fest over here. And then Brian's all in on Ryan Priest and Alex Bowman. So double barf. We should probably just take all of our money, bet Denny Hamlin, and become millionaires, but we're not. That's not how we roll. So let us know down in the comments who you like, what's sticking out to you this week, how you did at Dover, how many wins Denny gets, any of those things. We're really interested to hear your thoughts. As Brian mentioned with Friday practice, we'll try and loop back if we add anything, but we'll definitely tweet it out. And like I said, best way to get a hold of us, slide in those DMs, or the best way is jump in the Discord and have some good conversation with some really, really smart people. That's Brian Twining. I'm Kyle Robert. Dover is that way. The Brickyard is that way. Let's find some winners, and we'll be back on Saturday night in your feed Sunday morning to get you ready for another race weekend. Get us to 1,500 subs before the playoffs. We've got a month left, so really, 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 really want you to do that. If you do, we'll definitely give away a $100 prize. Check that out. For Brian Twining, I'm Kyle Robert. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll talk to you next time.